So a few selection changes this week for the Crusaders game, with Vui coming in for Ryan on the bench, and then Rona in for Lalakai at centre. Apart from that, that's a fairly settled lineup.
With Phipps starting.
Of course, with Phipps. So
what's your thinking there?
yeah, I've decided a couple of games ago that I'm going to rotate my two halfbacks through this New Zealand period to give them both an opportunity to not only get the best out of both of them for those games, but then both are really pressing for national honours, so I want to give both those opportunities.
Do you see that desire in Nick? I know he's had a frustrating year, but obviously he's basically got a month to prove to check that he should be in that Wallaby squad.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Nick's such a competitor. I think the chances he's been given when he comes on, you can see the speed at which he wants to play the game, and then also I'm looking at those fixtures and trying to match both their skill sets to those games, and so I want to give both the opportunity to be at their best and put obviously a performance in for the Waratahs, but then also an eye for higher honours.
Do you see him fitting better, maybe that's not the right word, but for this fixture at least with Bernard Foley and the pace that they'll play together?
Yeah, well obviously Nick and Jake have got lovely contrasting styles, and I think Nick's strengths for this game are really important. And I think the way he does speed the game up with his fitness and that strength, I think it'll be an important factor going into this game.
You see more influence out of Bernard, certainly when we came on at the weekend.
Yeah, well it's always the way, when you get to 60 minutes, a halfback tends to come on and speed the game up because they're fresh. It's a very, very taxing position.
We had this conversation every year, Daryl. What is it about the Crusaders over there that makes them so difficult? You've obviously got an intimate knowledge. How do we break this cycle?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to be at our best to break that cycle. We've talked about that. And we know what we're in for. They're playing some really solid football, both attack and defence. And we know we're going to have to do our best to compete because they contest everything and they compete hard.
So the Rebels are in the game until half-time and then got one away after half-time. Is that destructive to you about the necessity to play
For the full 80? And I think probably we'll reflect on last season. It's a very similar picture. The Crusaders came to Allianz and wore us down by about the 60th minute. I think they really jumped out. We let that game slip. So for us, we've gone away and done a lot of work on our fitness, and I believe we can go the 80.
What about the mental aspects? Do you have to talk to these guys about not going to Christchurch, fearing the mighty Crusaders and fawning over them and believing?
Yeah, I think we've talked more around the opportunity that presents us there. If we can be at our best, I believe we can win, and the players believe that. So for us, it's that challenge, making sure that we deliver when we need to. And I think for us, it's the biggest game of the season right now.
Is it fair to sort of say that now that this streak has become so big, 38 matches for Australia, 8 for Waratahs, etc., no Kiwi team's going to want to be that team that loses, and it's making it even more difficult?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them, but certainly for us, it's just a challenge every time against an opposition. For us, we want to make sure that we are at our best. And every time we fail, and lose a game, it's an opportunity for us to learn from those. And I think against the Blues, we've made progress from our previous game against the Lions. And that composure at crucial times just to finish the game. We're putting ourselves into great positions and just not quite nailing it when we need to.
Scott Robinson was talking about kind of the lack of depth in Australian rugby last week. Do you feel like you've seen that change this year? Or?
For us, I can only speak for our team. I believe we're certainly more competitive, and we're right there in terms of breaking through and becoming that team. We're all year bemoan the fact around our ball control, and we continue to lead the stats with turnovers against a team who are very good at breakdown, and so a lot of our improvement areas is around that, making sure that because we want to play positive rugby, we can make errors and trying to reduce those.
That kind of stat line, does that make it, do you think, here, I guess, to criticise Australian rugby and lose sight of some of the positive things that might be going on?
Yeah, well, certainly for us, we lead the stats at the number of turnovers we give, but we also lead in the number we're gaining. So there's opportunities in both, and it's about finding what works for us. And I believe every week we're getting closer to becoming a really competitive team.
How can you do it's the same last year? How can you eliminate turnovers? Are they in one area or in a bunch of
No, there's a bunch of areas. Because we throw a lot of passes and we want to play, we've got to get really good with our catch and pass skills. On the weekend, we turned a number over the ruck, and it's an area that Crusaders are very good on. So it's trying to reduce that number of areas and become really efficient when we do have the ball.
playing less?
In some cases, we look at the Crusaders and they're very tactical. They change their game week to week depending on who they're playing. And so for us, there's a real tactical interest in terms of the game plan that they approach us with.
For a personal note, is there any extra nerves heading against the Crusaders?
No, real excitement. It's always good going back there, and I think there's no better place to play footy and to challenge yourself. For us, that's the challenge, and to always constantly look for that game, we've been better.
What about Israel, talking might be looking to go to Queensland? Are you confident that you want to stay?
Yeah, well, obviously we know Israel's in that final contract period, and I'm sure he's having discussions with a number of people. And we're just really keen to keep him here. I think you've seen what he did last week. To me, he underlined the fact that he is one of the best fullbacks in the competition.
Is he content when you move into the wing?
We've had a lot of honest conversations with Israel around playing fullback or wing, and as far as we're concerned, he'll play where the team best needs him. And he believes fullback or wing, he'll do what's right by the team.